So how do we create our own survey question? There may be scenarios or times where you want to ask a question and you look online to see if anyone else has a standard scale or questionnaire, and it's not there. You may come across situations where you're looking for some standardized scale to match your own very niche product. And you want to learn a very specific construct about this product. And you look online, you look everywhere on the web, and you can't find anything. So we have to write our own question. So here are my steps for writing our own survey questions. The first step is, depending on your construct, you got to do the research on the construct, right? If you want to measure happiness, how's that defined? Is it 37 McChickens from McDonald's? Is it own your own pony? What is love? I mean, seriously, what is love? Can someone tell me? Step 2, try writing out multiple variations of the question. For example, if you want to measure happiness, let's say you start out with a unipolar scale. Try rewriting it as a bipolar scale. Now, we'll talk about bipolar and unipolar scales later, but that's just basically how happy are you with X from a scale from 1 to 5. Not at all happy to extremely happy. The bipolar version could be how happy or unhappy are you? Unhappy versus happy. Or you could rewrite it in an agree-disagree scale, or maybe even a multiple choice question. The point is, zoom out and consider how the question could be reframed, because they will slightly alter the meaning. Step 3 is, well, once you've written out your variations, decide which variation will help capture what you want to learn the best. Step 4, once you've decided which one is going to be the best for your objective, then it's time to refine it, polish it, massage it, caress it. And last but not least, step 5 is to actually test our question and get feedback. Just like piloting a user study, you can and should also pilot a survey to make sure people understand our questions and intent. Now, as an aside, a fun fact, if you will, there are academic ways to do this, such as using Cronbach's Alpha or PCA, depending on your question type. And if what I just said makes 0 sense, don't worry. Those techniques are super advanced and way beyond me, if I'm honest. That's more of an FYI of how measures can be validated. Anyway, back to our case. We can pilot our survey to make sure people understand what we're asking.
Do you understand?
And to test a survey, we do a qualitative study with participants. That's right. We're gonna ask them questions about the questions. I know, super meta. Here's what we wanna ask. 4 things. What do you think this question is asking you? How sure are you about the question? How sure are you about your answer? And finally, how did you arrive at your answer? You might even want to consider diverse participants too, in case some words are perceived differently. Now, you see, the point is not about getting the answer to your research question, but it's to see if they understand the question. Do they understand the intent of the question? If everything's good, then you're good to go.
Yeah, good to go.
If I'm coming up with a survey with questions that I'm iffy about, I might check with a couple folks, 3 to 4 people, ideally unrelated to the project. And to be frank, I'll usually just ask my research team as a first resort. And if we're really unsure about a question, I might recruit a user or 2. And that is how you create your very own survey question. For a more in-depth look at validating surveys, I included a link in the video details to mtab.com and how to do it. For some practice, try these prompts on your own. Okay, so try this. Pick a random everyday task that people do. It could be anything like watering plants or reading a book or doing the laundry, go grocery shopping, whatever. And come up with a survey questionnaire to measure confidence in completing that task. Come up with a survey question that measures stress levels completing the task, and one more question that measures happiness completing that task. So 3 separate questions. One's measuring confidence, one is measuring stress levels, and the other one is measuring happiness. So try these on your own using the tips I just gave in this lesson and share what you came up with. Then I'll see you in the next lesson, which is all about what I mentioned earlier, What are bipolar and unipolar scales?